Question 8 is a cross-text passage. So it's one of those that has a text 1 and a text 2 passage. Now, if you're not missing main idea questions, there's no reason you should be missing cross-text passages because you should be solving them in the exact same way. Essentially, you want to think of text 1 and text 2 as being in conversation with each other. So how I'm going to solve this question is I'm going to find the main idea in text 1, and then I'm going to find what text 2 says about the main idea in text 1. As I'm reading text 2, I'm only going to focus on how is this related to what the main idea in text 1 was. So let's go read through this passage together. I'm going to first start by focusing on text 1 and figuring out what the point of that is. Now, if you've seen any of the other videos for main idea questions, you'll know that what falls under a main idea is really 3 types of sentences. It's going to be the opinion or claim, it's going to be the conclusion, or it's going to be the but sentence. So let's look at this passage. This first sentence says graphic novels are increasingly popular in bookstores and libraries, but they shouldn't be classified as literature. So the main idea is graphic novels are not literature. Okay, just because that on its own doesn't give me a lot of information, I'm going to read a little more. And then the second sentence says literature tells a story or conveys meaning through language only. So what they're saying is that graphic novels are not literature because literature should only use language. And saying graphic novels tell stories through illustrations and use language only sparingly. So instead of only using language, it only uses language sparingly. And so graphic novels are a series of images, not as language. And so they're more like film than literature. So the main point of this sentence or this passage is that graphic novels are really images, not language. So that's what this passage wants to say. So I have figured out this is the claim. This is the opinion of text 1. So now I'm going to read text 2, and I'm only going to focus on what they're saying about that main idea in text 1. The first sentence begins by saying graphic novels present their stories through both language and images. Immediately, I figured out what text 2 is saying, which is text 2 is saying, yeah, we have images, but we also have language. It's both. So text 1 and text 2 have 2 different opinions. Those opinions are different from each other, right? Text 1 is saying just graphic novels are really just images, and text 2 is saying, no, they're both images and language. So using that, I'm going to go look at my answer choices. Immediately, I know answer choice D, agreeing with the author of text 1. Text 2 is not agreeing with the author of text 1. And B, where it says that text 2 acknowledges that the text 1 has identified. No, they're not going to agree with something text 1 has identified because the 2 opinions are not equal from each other. They're saying different things. So immediately I can rule out B and D. And really, I'm going to read A and C a little more carefully. Answer choice A says, by asserting that language plays a more important role in graphic novels than the author of text 1 recognized. So they're saying language is important in graphic novels. I like that for now because text 2 is saying, yeah, language important in graphic novels as well. So I'm going to keep A. I'm going to go read answer choice C, though, to be really sure that A is the correct answer. C says, that text 2 is suggesting that storylines of certain graphic novels are more difficult to understand than the author of text 1 complains. So the rest of answer choice C, the rest of text 2, I didn't read, but the main idea of text 1 and text 2 are not that some graphic novels are more difficult to understand, right? The point of the 2 passages are graphic novels both images and language, or are they just made up of images? How difficult they are to understand is absolutely irrelevant from the main ideas. And so I know that C is not the correct answer and A is the correct answer. Notice how I stopped reading text 2 as soon as I found the main idea in text 2 in relation to text 1. The rest of this passage doesn't really help me or add to my understanding and help me differentiate answer choices. I just read the first sentence of text 2, and that was more than enough for me to figure out that A is the correct answer to this question.